Hi, this is Mark. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to look at the real estate market, what the Washington bureaucrats are doing to crush your typical home buyer and why they're doing it, as well as whether a real estate crash is coming in the near future and how you should respond. If you could help me out with that YouTube algorithm and smash the like button, and if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, you can go ahead and subscribe as well. The Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. is trying to get inflation down to their target rate of 2%. They are doing this by raising interest rates in order to slow down the economy. One of their main targets is the housing industry. Raising interest rates makes it more expensive to purchase or build homes, which reduces the supply and the demand for houses. The reason the Federal Reserve targets housing is because it has such a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. When fewer houses are built, that means there's also less demand for the raw materials that go into houses, such as concrete or steel or lumber. Think of anything that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. If home builders aren't buying raw materials, then they don't need the workers to install those raw materials either. This means they will demand less electricians, plumbers, roofers, any tradesperson that goes into building a house. These workers will also have their incomes put under pressure by the falling demand, and they will demand less of everything throughout the economy. They will buy less at grocery stores, less cars, less at Best Buy, less of everything. The stress and reduction in the housing industry will eventually ripple into every aspect of the economy. That's what the Fed is trying to do when they raise interest rates. That's what's happening to the overall economy in terms of real estate, but what about the individual buyer? For years now, buyers have been struggling to get sellers to look at any kind of an offer. And buyers who were purchasing with a mortgage instead of cash had an even bigger problem. And first-time buyers were essentially shut out of the market almost entirely. The Federal Reserve has been aggressively raising interest rates, which should reduce demand and thereby reduce prices and help buyers out, correct? No, that's wrong. In years past, buyers had to contend with outrageously high and increasing home prices, but at least they had low mortgage rates, which would allow them to afford a larger mortgage. This is no longer the case. Buyers now have the double whammy of high housing prices plus increasing and now high interest rates, which make home prices even more unaffordable. One example from Florida shows a buyer that has lost over $200,000 in purchasing power due to the higher interest rates. And this does not even tell the entire story, because interest rates actually bottomed out under 2%, and they are now approaching 7%. This chart gives a more general view as to what is happening to buyers all across the country. Their buying power has dropped precipitously over the last 18 months due to increasing interest rates. Rising interest rates and sticky high home prices are crushing the hopes of buyers looking to purchase a home. But they have another problem on top of this, and that is even qualifying for a loan in the first place. Mortgage lenders are worried about the effects that these actions from Washington, D.C. will happen on real estate prices. They are increasing their requirements for borrowers. Also, they are reducing some of their loan programs, especially their adjustable rate mortgage programs, also called ARMs. These adjustable rate loan programs are directly affected by mortgage rates because, as the name implies, they're adjustable, they're not fixed. The interest rate rises and falls with the overall mortgage rate. ARM programs allow some buyers to purchase a property that they might not normally be able to afford because ARM loans start out with a lower teaser rate for a few years and then adjust to the market rate over time. This reduced interest rate in the beginning allows borrowers to get a larger mortgage and to purchase a more expensive home. This reduction in the availability of ARM loan programs has hampered buyers' ability to purchase homes even more. Given all this bad news, still high home prices, increasing mortgage rate, buyers are probably feeling a little bit whipsawed and wondering if they will ever be able to purchase a home at all. The answer appears to be no, at least not anytime soon if you believe the talking heads. There has been so much pent-up demand by people wanting to buy during COVID that it's hard to believe that demand is just going to crash anytime soon. On the supply side, Washington is doing the best that it can to try to choke off any supply, any additional building, which was already depressed again because of COVID and all of the supply chain issues that made it difficult to get building materials. What is the answer if you are currently in the real estate market or looking to get into it? I think the key word is patience. If you're a seller, the days of crazy markets, weekend sales where you get a dozen offers over your asking price, those days are over. Buyers are going to be a lot more discriminating, and you need to make sure that your property stands out. Anything that you can do to make your property more attractive visibly, anything that needs fixing, that looks out of place, too much clutter, anything that you can do to improve the curb appeal for a buyer, you should absolutely do. For buyers, the competition is going to be much less than it's been in years past. You no longer need to have your realtor rush out and put an offer down 5 minutes after a property shows on the market. If you don't have a realtor, go ahead and start interviewing one. Find one that is familiar with the neighborhoods that you want to live in and someone that you would be comfortable working with. Additionally, you should do your own homework as to what neighborhoods you want to live in, what the current pricing is, so that when a deal does come on the market, when there's a price drop, you know that it's an opportunity. Finally, you should take the time to clear up any problems that you have. If you've got credit issues, go ahead and get those cleaned up and line yourself up with a mortgage broker so that when a deal does come, you've got your financing in place. These actions in Washington, D.C. are going to take time to ripple through the economy and bring real estate prices down. If prices are going to drop, it's going to take a few months for that to happen. I would look for it next summer, maybe even next fall. So you do have time to take care of any problems you have and be ready to jump into the market if prices do drop. This is Mark. That's what I think about the real estate market. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would engage with me. Go ahead and drop a comment or a question down below. I do read all my comments. Until next time, keep that cash register spinning.